Howdy YouTube, Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today is Sunday, and as promised, I've put together a compilation video of the storm, Hurricane Harvey, or as I like to call it, the Harvey Wallbanger. Not to make light of this, Houston is really suffering right now. It's about 2:34 on Sunday afternoon. Houston has had a brief respite from the rain, a little interlude. Let me bring up the weather radar. Here's Houston here. The west side of Houston has gotten a break. The west side is getting hammered. And this is all still centering around that center of circulation. The hurricane, or now tropical storm, came up through Rockport, hit Victoria, and now has settled in Cuero, and it has been doing this. If you can follow my mouse here. It's been wobbling. So occasionally it'll push some rain up here by where I am, and occasionally it'll push out that way. The problem is that as this center of circulation turns, it draws more warm water in off the Gulf, and Houston and places east, well into Louisiana, and north heading into Dallas, Fort Worth, Shreveport, is getting ready to get hit by some rain. As you can see, this is an extensive storm as I zoom out here. So not to put too fine a point on it, nearly half of Texas is battling a storm right now, and the coast has been utterly devastated. Very little loss of life, fortunately, so far. Of course, they'll probably be finding bodies for a few days. I hope not many. But most people in Texas are usually prepared for this kind of thing. They're not totally helpless, and people that live at the coast have a little bit more money than flatlanders like you and I, and so they take precautions and whatnot. So I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to play some footage of the coverage I did of the hurricane, or the part of the hurricane that we got. And we just got a little touch of it. I mean, this is nothing. You can imagine hurricanes go on for hours and hours and hours. Tornadoes and thunderstorms, they last, tornadoes last less than 5 minutes, and thunderstorms typically 10, 20, 30 minutes at the most. You get a lot of rain, lightning, and whatnot. But this was constant pounding wind, and it does something to your psyche. Look at my eyes. You see how swollen they are and bloodshot and red? It's not that I feel the stress. It's just that it plays on your mind, the pounding of the wind against the house and the rain. And then the wind picks up, and then it lets down, and you think, oh, we're done with it now. And then the wind picks up again. So you're constantly going through that. So a normal 7 or 8 hour workday turns into a 16-hour binge of, I try not to watch the TV. I keep a look on the radar. I look on social media. I check with friends and neighbors, see how they're doing. But I typically stay off of news sites because they don't know what the hell's going on. I'm in it. And I like to find out from the people around me what's really going on. So I compiled some footage, put it together here for you. So I'm going to go ahead and play some of that now, and I'll voice over where I need to. So without further ado, let's get this party started, as they say. This is the west side of the house. I don't know if you can hear it, but the wind is howling. We're getting gusts between, I don't know, 40 and 50 miles an hour. That's a wind gust right there. You can hear it on the microphone. This is nothing. That's probably a 40 mile an hour wind gust, 45. It's going to get worse than that. I decided not to do the live stream overnight because there was really nothing to show and nothing to talk about. We were okay. As you can see, everybody's fine so far. Nobody's losing any roofs or anything. We got some shingles flapping on the house across the way. You can see the horizontal rain bands coming down. I'll go out front here in a minute, but this is looking south. This is looking west. The winds are coming out of the north and the east. They're wrapping around the hurricane, or now still a hurricane. And you can see it's not too bad. We're going to lose some shingles, I'm sure. The house has started to quiver. That's what I call it, quivering. Sometimes from high winds you'll get a vibration. You can feel it in your rear end. So that's been happening. Alright, let me go out in the front porch, see if we can get a better view. Here we are in the front porch. If you can hear it, I'll just be quiet. You can hear the wind. Hey, look, if you look down there, you see some palm trees between those deciduous trees. See the 3 little palm trees down there? It gives you a better idea of the wind speed. We haven't lost any trees, haven't lost any power lines, thank God. We haven't had a lot of rain. I've been really shocked that we didn't have more rain, but that could come tonight too. So this is not the worst part of what we're going to get. The worst part of what we're going to get is going to happen tonight, probably around 4 or 5 o'clock. Right now it's just gearing, it's just winding itself up, and it's not the worst amount of rain we've seen either. So that's still to come. Give you an idea of the wind blowing around. The wind is what bothers me most in any storm. And look, you can see now, if you look, you're getting horizontal rain bands. So that's the thing. That's how you know you're in a tropical system. You get that horizontal rain. You don't get real heavy rain. You don't get a lot of thunder and a lot of lightning, and hopefully we won't get any tornadoes. That'll be up around the Houston area. But you can see my fiber. That's my fiber line right there. It's really shaking in the breeze. But here we go. Here's another big wind gust. Hang on to your butts. Look at that. That's 50, 60 miles an hour. But there you go. Boy, I can't believe the adrenaline just started pumping in my chest. When that happened, I got a mad rush out of that. But that's probably a 50 mile an hour wind gust. My poor dog. And then it calms right back down. Come on, you two. Let's go in the house. I'm trying to get the dogs in. I've got one dog that wants to climb up and down the stairs. He's going to kill himself. See if we can get another one over here. You can see my power lines and my fiber lines they're okay for now. We haven't lost power, thank God. So that was a nice little wind gust, huh? I got a poor pecan tree out there that's just gonna either have to make it or not. So we'll just continue to monitor it. Here we go. Here comes another wind gust. It get calm, and then boom, you just get a huge amount of wind coming up out of nowhere. Down by our coast, I guess Round Rock took the majority of the brunt of the storm. That's a little town just east of Corpus Christi, and it's just south of where my mother used to live, which was Victoria. Currently the hurricane is centered right over Victoria, so her old hometown is getting battered right now as we speak. So there you go. There's some footage of our weather, and I'll continue to document it through the day. don't know how long I'm going to stay out here because it is awful windy. No, it's not too windy on the deck. Okay. So we're getting some pretty good winds and rain now. We are in the outermost band, the northwest corner of the storm. You can see the rain sheeting off of my neighbor's roof. I have to say we have sustained winds right now, probably about 40, maybe 45. We're getting gusts up to 60, I would imagine. And you can see the rain is coming down now. There are some people out here driving in the rain. The birds are trying to take refuge under my porch. I feel bad because I chased them away now. Anyway, so the wind picks up, then it dies down, and then it picks right back. Here it goes again. Here's another gust. The closer we get to the wall, this northwest wall of the hurricane, the stronger the winds will get. I wouldn't be surprised to see 70, 80 mile an hour wind out here. Here comes another gust. And you can see the feeder band. You see the darker cloud? That's a feeder band. You see how it's kind of wrapping around us up here? And then you got the lighter colored sky. That's where the winds and the rain are. Here we go. Big wind gust. Big wind gust. You know what's amazing is I am the only idiot out here. I have not seen anybody else come outside at all today. Not one person. So, another wind gust. You can see the palm trees down there in the distance, blowing in the wind. Now they're saying this is going to keep up until late into the year. We go. You can see, you can really see we're in a rain band now. You see the sheeting rain coming down horizontal. The wind is blowing it to the side. Another strong wind gust. And you see how it's getting really bright over here and clear? That's high winds. That's all rain. I'm going to have to seek shelter here in a minute because it's getting a little gnarly out here. Fortunately, there's not much, if any, debris flying around. But, man, my neighbors are getting pounded. I hope they're all right. They had a bad roof, too. I've seen some shingles flapping, but I haven't seen anybody missing any shingles. I'm going to check the camera real quick. I'm going to make sure I didn't have water building up on the lens. We're starting to get the heavy rain, high winds now. Do you see the wind is changing direction? I hope it doesn't get any worse than this because I'm like, you know, I haven't taken my alprazolam today, my Xanax. I'm trying to avoid having to have that medicated feeling. But wow, oh wow, look at that rain coming down. Look at that. Piling up that rain. You can see it blowing off the roof. Not blowing, literally blowing off the roof, but the rain coming off of the roof. Look at this. And I'm the only idiot out here filming. You know, under the shelter of the porch, it's not that windy, you know, but to get out there and it would probably knock me over. You can see what it's doing to the pool. That's affecting the waves. And then we get a little respite and then it picks up again. Fortunately, thank God, we haven't had any power lines come down. We haven't lost any trees. It looks like there might be some damage over at my neighbor's house. Something flew up against their porch, but it's about all I can see. Everybody else is trying to, you know, just make sure there's one guy out down there at that house who's trying to see if his stuff is secure, I guess. And then the wind just dies down again. And you can see now we have a big dark rain band. That is a hurricane band, rain band. So it's dark there, really light over here. And if, I don't know if you can see it, but it's swirling. See how it's spinning? Now these are also the clouds you need to watch because occasionally a tornado will drop down out of one of these clouds. It's getting awful still out here now as that dark band approaches us. Basically just windy and rainy. And now we have a respite in my poor old tree. If it survives, I'll be surprised. But here's that dark band feeding in. And here come the wind again, so that's probably off this band right here. You can see it picking up. Now I gotta be ready to move just in case there's something pops down out of that cloud. Here we go. That's how it works. You get these big dark bands here that have high winds and lots of rain in them. I don't know if you can hear it as well as I can. I don't think anything's going to blow away, but that's how these feeder bands come in. Here it is right above us now. Kind of spinning around, and the storm is only moving, they said 2 miles an hour. So it's going to be with us a while. And all you can do is hope and pray that you missed the worst part of it. Alright, well I'm going to end this video here and we'll come back out again in a little while. I think it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. And I'm going to give you, this is what they were warning us about. Now what's going to happen is it's going to rain like this continually for the next several hours. And this is where, as you can see, the water's already started piling. My spouse made it home. But this is the rain event they're talking about. No leaks in the roof yet. Everything's doing fine. The house is held up remarkably well. Toby, stay. 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 Alright, so the pool right now is right about at 3 or 4 little squares. So it's 10 after 2 now. We'll check again on the rain here in a little while. But this is the, we're now on the outer eye wall of the hurricane. And it is parking right over us. This storm is only moving 2 miles per hour. It's coming right at us. So now we're going to get inundated with all the rain. Okay, it looks like we did lose some shingles off the roof. I see some shingles there out in the yard. That's the only one I see. So far so good. I can't get into the rain. Don't want to get the phone wet. I can't get out in the rain right now and check and see the status of the roof, but I know I lost some shingles because they're sitting in my front yard. And the wind keeps changing direction. You see it blows one direction, then it'll stop and blow another. Another good wind gust. This is what they were telling us about. Hey, you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till the main front of the storm gets here. And boy, they were right. We're in it to win it now. Good steady rain, probably 1 inch per hour, 1.5 inches. I don't know. Not a weatherman. I only play one on YouTube. But you can see the wind and the rain buffeting my neighbors' houses. Ooh, that wind she's picking up. Now, hopefully we won't lose any more shingles. And if we do, hopefully the tar paper will hold the roof together. Wowie zowie. And I hope this doesn't carry on in past 8 o'clock, because I don't like high winds when the sun goes down. Alright, so we'll check on this rain again in an hour. Check on it again at 3 o'clock. It's now 2 o'clock. I'm just compiling all this so we can do a video later and post it on YouTube. So here we are at 2:10 p.m. Winds are still raging. Rain is still coming down. Alright, YouTubers, it's now An hour later, it's 3 o'clock. Our last update was at 2. See the wind still blowing, the rain has let up a bit. There's a little bit of white sky, but as you can see, we got some more coming over here. This thing is just sitting on top of us now. I'm starting to see, if you see way down there, my neighbor's roof has been compromised. It's a brand new house down there. Evidently their shingles weren't attached properly or something. I've lost a couple of shingles. They're out here in the yard, but no roof leaks inside. The structure hadn't been compromised. Windows, you know, we got all brand new siding and windows. I imagine that has to do with something. And the wind is now kind of shifting out of the north. As you can see, that's north. This is east over here. This is north, and you can see now the wind is definitely starting to come around out of the north as the eye wall moves closer toward us. Still nothing of any major consequence blowing around. It's mainly 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts and about 45, maybe 50 mile an hour sustained winds. It just depends on what, you know, as this band moves in, you see the wind's increasing and the rain increases. Now we're still not getting a lot of rain. Normally that would be full of rain down there, but we're not getting a lot of rain, but man, we're getting a lot of wind. They said, oh, this is going to be a big rain event, but you know, I'm really worried about my neighbor's house down there. They got little kids living in it. I hope they're not getting rained on, but there's nothing you can do when there's a storm like that. And it looks like we got a little something trying to touch down, spin down out of that cloud over there. That's the other thing you got to worry about. Little isolated F0, F1 tornadoes can pop up in a storm like this like nobody's business. The pool hasn't really increased in volume, the depth of it, so we're not getting, like I said, a lot of rain. And if the winds stay at where they are now, we should be okay. We may have a little roof damage, that kind of thing, but nothing we can't survive through. So this is our 3 o'clock update. I'm just kind of doing a panning around. That's looking south. This is the southern view. This is the eastern view. And this is the northern view. The winds are picking up again every time another little band comes in. And it's going to blow like this for hours. This is what really beats up on structures. People are like, oh, the wind's no big deal, but you know, hours and hours of wind like this, they can really beat up your roof. But you know, your roof, hell, a shingle roof should be able to handle hurricane force winds without losing the roof. So we'll go down later and check on our neighbors when the rain lets up a little bit. I don't see any emergency vehicles down there, so they're probably all okay. Alright, so this is the 3 o'clock update. We'll come back and update at 4. I'm going to update all day until 8 o'clock, until the sun goes down. And now you see we're in a little relatively calm spell. But I can see right up the road there's another wave coming, so this is what it's like on Saturday in South Texas in August. Hurricane Harvey. I call it the wall banger because that's what it's doing. I've been looking at Facebook at some of the damage in Rockport and Port Aransas, one of my favorite places to visit, and it's pretty intense. Places we visit all the time have been totally decimated down there. They're going to have a lot of cleanup to do. All right. Oh, here comes another wind gust. And so here we are. It's 4 p.m. Water's starting to pile up. The pool is now up to 2 little squares on the right hand side, so it's gotten higher by 1 square. Wind is still blowing. It's a lot calmer than it was. I'd say the winds are around 30, 35 miles an hour. We're getting gusts up to 40, 45. Not like they were, but we just could be in a band that doesn't have a lot of rain in it. You can see people out driving around, so it's not, you know, for us it's not a major deal. We're going to get a lot of rain and we're going to get a lot of wind. And now that the rain is coming in, you can see my drainage ditch is starting to fill up. And that's usually how these things go. Now this thing has stopped moving. It is basically, frankly, just sitting right over the top of us now and dumping every last little piece of rain it has inside of it. We staged everything up here on the deck. Everything's fine. Nothing's gotten hurt. Everything's piled up. We're still getting some wind gusts. We got a strong one coming in now. But like I said, the winds are now coming out of the north instead of the east. So that's making a difference. But it seems to have seems to be calming down. And time will tell. So I'll do another one of these at 5, and another one at 6, and another one at 7. I'll do my last one at 8. And then I'm going to try like hell to get this video posted tonight, but I'm not making any promises. It depends on what family things are going on, etc. So wish me luck. Alright, so it's about 5:15 in the evening. The rain, in the last 5 hours, the tropical storm has moved 9 miles in 6 hours. It's moving. It's just kind of sitting over the top of us. This is what they were worried about. And you can see on the pool, if you look on the far right hand side, if you can see those squares, it's now up to the last square, so the pool's starting to get a little full. You can see we got some water in the drainage ditch. It has been raining here continually since probably about, I'd say 2:30, 3 o'clock. No, my 2 o'clock set it, so I'd say about 2. It's been raining heavy, so it's going to keep on raining. It's going to rain all night. It's going to rain probably most of the day tomorrow. This is what they're worried about now. Not so much the winds. The winds are still gusting around 40 or 50 miles an hour, depending on what rain band you're in. As we get closer and closer to the center of the circulation of the storm, so we're probably in for quite a bit of weather. And the wind is definitely coming out of the north now, so we're on the other side of this storm. Before it was coming out of the east. Now it's primarily coming out of the north. So lots of wind, lots of rain. Hopefully the roof won't start leaking. We've only lost a few shingles. I'll have another update around 6, maybe 7 o'clock. And then our final update tonight will be at 8. And then I'm going to try to put this video together and put it online. I can't see any major damage to any of my neighbors' houses out here. We've had a couple of blips in the power, but we haven't lost power for any extended period of time. So we're going to pray that continues to be the story. So, whoo, that is a big wind gust. Big one. Big, big, big. That's a 50 or 60 mile an hour wind gust right there. Woo! Holy moly. Still blowing. It's building up. Still blowing. It's alright, Z. My dog is kind of freaked out. She's a good girl, though. She's a big girl. Let you take all this in. This is what it's like. You know, it's not like a storm. It's like a storm that never wants to end. It makes it hard to sleep at night because every little noise you hear, you're like, is that something blowing off the house? I mean, there's not much you can do about it except worry, but you can see, just look at the rain peeling off my neighbor's house over there. So it is coming down. It is not fit for man or beast. So I'm gonna shut the camera off before it gets soaking wet and go in and have some dinner. We'll be back. I know I told everybody we were going to get some footage Saturday night, but I ended up going to bed at 7 o'clock. I was just exhausted. So here we are. Today is Sunday. Fortunately for us, this thing is moving off very slowly to the north and the east. However, for Houston, it looks like it's going to be a major disaster in Houston. They are getting flooding like you would not believe. As you can see, we've had quite a bit of rain. It's not as much as they expected, but we've got some standing The winds are still blowing out here. We're still getting that. We're on the northwest side of the storm, so the pool is full. We did go out earlier, about an hour ago, and we went and got some breakfast just to survey the damage. There's a few tree limbs that are knocked down. There's some houses that have lost part of their roofs, that kind of thing, but nothing major. We saw one car lot had their lights bent over to the side. It was up near Interstate 10 in Seguin. But other than that, other than losing a shingle or two here or there, I haven't looked at the back of the house yet. But it looks like we have survived. We're still getting light rain and gusty winds. But as you can see, the dogs are finally getting out to do their business, which is a good thing. My neighbor evidently lost a tree over there. As you can see right to the left of that Jeep, you can see that bush. That was a tree. That appears to have snapped off in the wind. I've got other neighbors down here that have lost probably, maybe a fifth of their roof way down there. And that's just because sometimes on these mobile homes they only put these shingles in with staples instead of nails. That's what happened to our roof 10-15 years ago when we replaced it. We found out it had only been stapled, it hadn't been nailed down, and that causes trouble. They can't stand up to the wind like a shingled roof with nails in it. So good girl. I thought she'd gotten into the house. She was just going potty. Oh, they got another gust of wind coming out of the north here. So anyway, sorry, but I went to bed at 7 p.m. last night. I just had enough of this storm, the wind beating up against the house, and just decided to go ahead and go to bed. And I slept until about 4 o'clock this morning. Got up for another couple hours and then went back to bed again. Slept from 7 till about 10. So, but we're still here. The house is fine. Yeah, all the animals are fine, and my neighbors appear to be okay. Nobody's injured or anything like that. And you know, we were very, very lucky, very lucky. But Houston, Galveston, East Texas is getting pounded right now by this storm, and it's not letting up. It just keeps on coming. They're having hospitals that have to be evacuated in Houston, you name it. So ever vigilant.
Well, there you go. It's a lot of footage. I know it's going to be a 45-minute video, but it gave you a day-by-day account of how things went out here. Now, here it is. It's 3:24 on Sunday. I'm about to wrap up this video now. I just wanted to talk a bit about what this storm has done. It's pretty much devastated most of South Texas, and in the days and weeks to come, I'm sure we're going to hear left and right news reports of this, that, and the other, and but we'll be okay. We got a good governor at the helm, and our people down here, the rescue people, the volunteers, will do a good job taking care of those less fortunate than us that have lost everything. We lost nothing. We lost a couple of shingles off the roof of our house. It kind of puts things in perspective for you. You know, at a moment's notice, your life can change just like that. So, fortunately, most of the people that were in harm's way got out of the way. Those that are in Houston were not ordered to evacuate, but were recommended to evacuate that could, and a lot of them did. We have a lot of people here in San Antonio. Houston is only about a 2.5-hour drive from where I live. So we get a lot of them up here. A lot of people will go to Dallas to ride out this hurricane, but Houston, I just can't believe it. It's like the city has turned into a massive river, a massive islands surrounded by rivers. So stay off the news, because CNN and all them, they're not reporting it properly. Get on YouTube and just do a YouTube search on Houston or Katy or Galveston, and you'll see people streaming actual people who are in the thick of things streaming, and that'll give you an idea what's going on. What I really like about the YouTube documentation, I mean, you see all the good people helping one another. You see emergency personnel out there, but you're going to notice that most of the good deeds and the good Samaritans are going to be regular citizens lending a hand to one another. That's what it's all about, because who knows you better than your neighbor, right? And if if we had a neighbor out here who was homeless, we'd put him up if we had to, Fortunately, it hadn't come to that. So while the storm was bad for us, it was nothing compared to just 80 miles down the road here. A massive destruction, and now the hurricane is just, or the tropical storm is just sitting and spinning. It's going to be, they say it's going to be Friday before the rain and wind are over, so we'll see. Thing about meteorologists is they do about as good a job of predicting the weather as you and I do. If you have weather radar, you can usually predict what your weather is going to be better than a weatherman can. And they're just guessing. Just because they have that plaque on the wall and went to school doesn't mean they're necessarily, they understand it maybe a little bit more than you do. And then the other thing was, it used to be 10, 15 years ago, I would have never ridden out a hurricane in a mobile home, and then I educated myself and found out how well built these homes are. If you look at some of the videos from the hurricane that went across Florida a few years ago, the big one, there are a lot of mobile homes that had roof damage and siding damage, and then there were those that were totally destroyed. But mobile homes, manufactured homes, are built to a better standard now than site-built homes are, because in the United States, a mobile home or a manufactured home has to meet housing and urban development guidelines, so they're inspected by federal inspectors to make sure the roofs are tied down, the walls are tied to the roofs, the walls are tied to the floor. It's all one integral unit, and then they make sure when you put them on your foundation, that they're tied down well, etc., etc. So there were times when we had 60, 70 mile an hour wind gusts, and you could feel the floor buffeting like this, right underneath my chair, and then my desk. You'd start to get a little shake like this. See that little shake, where the walls kind of buffeting with the wind. Fortunately, most of the wind is coming out of this corner right here. So I'm on the opposite side. So we got a whole half of the house that's facing, or a third of the house that's facing, quarter of the house that's facing the wind, and the rest of it is out of it. It's at an angle to the wind, perpendicular. So, would I stay in a mobile home again? Yeah, I'd stay in a mobile home again. Plus, keep in mind, I've torn this house apart, so I know how it's built. And anywhere when we took off the siding that I felt it wasn't strong enough, we would put braces in or additional reinforcement or whatever. So it's a stout build house. And you see what even happens to site build houses. If you were on my live stream, my part 4 of the Hurricane Harvey coverage, I showed you some of the pictures of Port Aransas. So there were mobile homes that survived and site build homes that didn't. So it's hit or miss. It all depends on how well everything is built. Well, anyway, you've seen the footage, you've seen the timeline, and I'll do some coverage again throughout the rest of the day. I'll just keep an eye on the weather, and if anything major changes, I will report it. Listen, I appreciate y'all watching all 4 of the live streams over the last few days, and watching this video today. It's greatly appreciated. So thanks for all your continued support. Something that I hadn't noticed because of all the stuff going on with the weather is we have now I started this YouTube channel in August of last year, and in 1 year we managed to get up to 100,000 views, and that's because of people like you that have come back and seen my videos, recommended it to others, and subscribed. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's greatly appreciated. So for now, I'm going to say bye, and we'll come back. I'll announce if I'm doing another live stream or another video, let y'all know. And for now, we'll see you on the other side.